So we're in the neighborhood, right? Non-mentioned neighborhood, but a neighborhood nonetheless. It's an active neighborhood. Talking about active. People just falling and dropping, homeless and addicts, and it's the hood. So there's this guy. He's a resident addict, I guess you would say. He got the bad stuff. He got a little bit of that little extra fentanyl, and whatever he was doing fell out. Just fell out. Sitting there knocked down on the floor. On the farther part of this neighborhood, it's like a business complex, a little 3-story little business complex, lawyers and insurance people and stuff like that. So it's around noontime. This guy's knocked out. Heat, burning up, but he's overdosed. And the first guy walks out. It's time for him to go to lunch. He's going to a little sandwich shop down the street. He comes over and he sees the guy passed out. He just looks at him. He's like, Steps over and kept on pushing. He's going to go get himself a little sandwich. Needless, I'm telling you guys, it's about 110 degrees outside. The guy's passed out, overdosed. You can see him just sweating, starting to little spit. Bad news. So he's there, and then about 2-3 minutes later, another guy comes up. He looks at him, and he just shakes his head. He didn't think twice. He kept on pushing. I don't know where he went to, but he didn't do nothing. And then probably about 10 minutes later, another guy comes up. This guy's a working class guy. Hard hat, safety vest, comes up. Nothing fancy. Sees the guy. He's like, man, what the heck's wrong with this guy? He seems concerned. He's like, come on. He goes down, starts shaking the guy. Hey, you good? You good down there? Check, make sure he was breathing, check his pulse. Guy's not responding. He's like, man, what do I do? He starts looking around, sees a little no-tell motel down the street, because remember, we're in the hood. So he goes down and he goes, hey man, I got you. Picked the guy up and carried him. It's just a couple buildings over from where he was at. He walks in and he tells the people at the front desk, hey, I need to check this guy in. He's overdosed, he's sick, and he's just out there in the street, no one's helping him. They're like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, okay, I'm going to make you guys a deal. I'm working down the street at the little high-rise right there at the building. I work there. I'm here every day, 5-6 days a week. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I don't get paid till Friday. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll leave you my driver's license. Let me put my boy in a room. And just whatever he needs, do it. And I'll come back on Friday and I'll pay his bill. I'll take care of him. So now, you have to remember, first was an attorney. And now, shout out attorneys. Shout out all you white-collar workers. We need you guys to make the world go round. So I'm not throwing no shade on nobody. This is for the premise of the story. So first guy walked by, didn't do nothing, went to get a sandwich. Second guy came up, didn't do nothing. The third guy, which is a working class guy, he had a little bit more compassion for the guy. He saw him, because anybody could be there. I was there a long time ago. I'm a recovering addict. So I relate a lot with this story. So I've been sober for 10 years now. I haven't touched a drug in 10 years. So that's the upside. But took him in there, and he doesn't know this guy from Adam. He's never met him in his life. He just saw him, saw he was in need. Didn't hesitate to pick him up, take him to the hotel.
This is the third guy?
This is the third guy, yeah. The hard hat guy. The guy with the hard hat. For the sake of conversation, we're going to name him Michael. Just for the sake of conversation. So Michael picked him up, took him in. The guy's like, well, okay, but you have to come pay. He goes, no, I got you. I'm here every day. Just keep watching for me. If you see me, just, I'll come in and check on him every day so you know that I'm not going there. But here's my ID, my driver's license, right here, so you know who I am. So they're like, okay. So he puts him up. He goes, give him the room, the key, put him in there. He got him water. He bought him food. He tried to bring him too before he left him because he wanted to know what was going on. Because sometimes when you're in an overdose state, you wake up and you're kind of frazzled. You don't know where you're at. Me personally, I can only speak of personal experience. I remember a couple of times when I would just be on a bender up days. And then when I finally fell asleep for days. And when you wake up, you're kind of like, where am I at? What do I do? So this guy finally got him to wake up a little bit to where he can understand what he's doing. He said, hey dude, I bought food. I bought water. There's some drinks. Here's a little bit of money if you have to go anywhere, but don't worry about nothing. You stay here. I'll be back in a couple of days to check on you. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm going to take care of everything. So he's like, okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I said, okay, I'll see you later. Takes off. So in this story, we have three people, okay? we have the first guy that came in, just walked over him, just shook his head. The other one walked over him, didn't pay him no mind. And then we got the third guy who really took interest in the person. Not so much a situation, but in a person. You know, it's like, and I'll put it in terms now. Victor, our owner, my owner, he takes compassion on all of us. If he ever sees us in need, he does not hesitate. He asks, "Are you okay? Do you need this? What can I do for you?" And he does it. I do it for people that I see, and I just by knowing Tommy for a couple of weeks that I've known him, he seems like that kind of guy. So you know, this in case you guys didn't know, this is a story in the New Testament of the Bible that pertains to the Good Samaritan. It's in the book of Luke. Chapter 10 goes between verses 25 and 37. So the premise of this story is just, we need to have compassion because we don't know what the next person's going through. I mean, and an addiction isn't always necessarily a drug addiction or alcoholism. An addiction is something that you overindulge in. It could be work. You could be addicted to work and just be burnt out. You know, the other day I was talking to Victor and you know, I was going through some stuff and I kind of unloaded on him a little bit and he gave me a little bit of insight. But, you know, so there's just that time that you just got to be the Good Samaritan. You got to be that guy that really just shows true, genuine compassion. Because at the end of the day, we were shown compassion. You know, we were, you know, the scriptures say we all fall short of the glory of God. But he still gave up his life for us. He sent his only son to die for us on the cross. For you, for me, Victor, Tommy, for anybody that believes. He says, believe in your heart, confess it with your mouth, and you will be saved. And that's forever. That doesn't even take it away. You can't even buy that. Hey, nobody in the world can buy that. It's a gift.
The Good Samaritan.
The Good Samaritan.
The Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
I believe that story took place in a town that was named that, right? Like Samaria or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and then the story, Jesus is actually telling this story to a lawyer who asked him, how do I gain eternal life? Right? And Jesus said, you know, a lawyer back then is a guy who is very knowledgeable on the Bible, the Old Testament, the books, right? They would follow that law. And the lawyer said, you know, hey, just, you know, be kind, love everybody, love your neighbor, all the good things, right? And Jesus said, there you go. That'll do it for you. And then Jesus told the story about the man and how many times people passed him, and then finally that Samaritan helped him out. And you know, you gotta be like that. Like, you gotta be compassionate, like you were saying, Ricky, for anybody you meet. And to me, that's hard. I don't know if it's easy for you guys.
Well, the hardest part of that story is stopping.
Yeah,
like stopping in your life. I mean, the first guy, you know, walked by and just like nodded and took off. He probably was like, dude, I can't do this. I'm busy.
Right.
The lawyer, you know, has business to run.
Right.
You know, he has things to do, and probably stepped over him and said the same thing too. Like, dude, or I don't know why the Bible.
Afraid. He's just, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I can't stoop to your level, whatever it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the third guy, just like you said, he had work to do. He was on his way to work. He was on his way to do something. He had to stop his life, to help somebody out. So maybe the story is a little bit about that. It's like, hey, it doesn't matter who we are or what position we're at. In order for us to have some type of compassion or to care, you have to stop where you're at and give a little.
Yeah.
I don't know why the story would talk about an actual lawyer, so how that comes into. I know there's probably a lot of scholars are gonna type in the comments below, the lawyer means this and that, but it's a pretty simple story.
Yeah. I guess they called people who had knowledge of the Bible then lawyers, you know.
Like the Mexicans, we call them. What do we call them?
Which ones?
The lawyers. How do you say it in Spanish?
Abogados?
No, there's another one. There's another.
Licenciados?
Everybody's a licenciado.
Yeah.
You don't even need credentials or anything. It's like, hey, licenciado. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just know it's really hard to be. I want to be a good Samaritan, and I am at sometimes. But there's times, man, where it's like those, I feel like those other two guys that just walk past a person in need, right? Like either you pretend not to see it, or you're too busy.
So being a good Samaritan is not also giving physically, you know. And I've done a lot of sales training, and I tell sales guys, you might not be able to give a customer, you know, a gift like some big company, you know, hey, you know, welcome right here. Here's a meal. Let's go to lunch. You're working, and you might not be able to give something, but you can give a smile.
Yeah.
You can give somebody an actual handshake,
acknowledgement.
And sometimes these homeless people on the roads, they haven't talked to people in weeks.
Yeah.
A real person. I mean, they might talk to each other around them, but a real person, you know. And sometimes just stop, and you don't have to give them money. You don't have to give them a hotel room, but you can say hi, good morning, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
like my wife and I have been out places, and like if we go out to eat, and like me, I'm not a leftover guy. I can't. If I take leftovers home, they're not going to get it. I'm going to end up throwing them away. But they all bring leftovers. Sometimes we'll see homeless people and be like, hey, can you? And we just give them the food. Or if we don't have food, be like, hey, do you want something to eat? I'll go buy you something to eat. I'll buy you some coffee. We went to my daughter's school for her. She had a parents' day not too long ago, and her sorority house is right down the street from 7-Eleven, and there's always homeless people there. And there's a coffee shop there. It's like a bagel shop or whatever, but there's a 7-Eleven right there. And I went to go get us coffee, and I think I got a Monster or something, I don't know, but there was a homeless guy there, and I saw him on my way in, so I was like, okay, let me get this guy some coffee. So I got him a large coffee, and I went out there, and I just like, here, dude, get some coffee, warm yourself up, have a great day. And just the look on his face, he's like, wow, okay, cool. Because he didn't even ask for nothing. But I mean, like I said, I'm telling you what, about 12 years ago, you guys wouldn't even shake a stick at me. I was strung out. I was in a bad way. I mean, it happens, you know what I mean? But like I said, you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep pushing.
Or you need somebody, like maybe somebody needs that good Samaritan to pull them out from wherever they are. Like what helped you, get across that addiction, like to say, okay, like I'm gonna stop. Of course you made a choice to stop, but then like there had to be some type of
what was that good Samaritan?
That good Samaritan that kind of like said, hey, dude, like it's time, like where can I help you out? You know what I mean? Like
I think for me, because I was around a bunch of addicts, so there wasn't really a good Samaritan per se. I mean, people would help out occasionally. But it was just one day. I had been up for probably 6 or 7 days, and I fell asleep, and I woke up. I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I was like, I can't. I'm not doing this. And then I prayed, and I cried. I cried a little bit more than I prayed just because I was tired, man. Like, you get to that point when you're an addict where you just, like, why? Like, why am I here? What is my purpose in life?
Yeah.
And I had estranged my kids. I extradited. I didn't want them to be around me because I was an addict. And I was done. I was done feeling like that. I right now I weigh 265 pounds. When I was in my addiction, I weighed 178 pounds. So I was.
So what was the first step? Like, who did you turn to?
Moving away from my area. I moved away from the city I was in. I moved with my son back over there in Marietta.
And so your son helped you out.
Yeah, he was the one that reached out.
That's your good Samaritan.
That's your good Samaritan.
He extended that olive branch, and I lived with him and the kids.
No, think about it. I mean, yeah, you were tired, and yeah, you made the choice to move away, but who was that good Samaritan?
Yeah.
Who was the one that opened the doors and says, dude, we're going to bring drama in this house?
Yeah.
Shout out my son. Shout out Louis Delavar. I love his son.
Shout out to Louis. Gonna have eternal life, man.
My son. Oh, by the way, my son he's a tech in the United States Air Force. He's stationed at Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire.
Hey.
Love you, son. Thank you.
Thank you for service.
Thank you for being that good Samaritan.
We got to get him in here and interview.
Yeah.
Give us the truth of how Dad came in.
Yeah.
His little story.
That will not happen. I'm just kidding. Come in. There's nothing to hide. I mean, if we can't be transparent with you guys, then there's no point in us even talking to you guys.
I'll tell you this, there's been times where I've been in scenarios, like I'm a big believer that God talks to us, right? And it's that inner voice where it's like, go do it. Don't be afraid. Like you want to help out. And it was the same thing. We were at In-N-Out Burger, and we were hanging out, and a bunch of kids came off of a bus, and we were sitting outside eating with my family. And there was this one young man who didn't go inside with the rest of the class. You know, they were on a field trip or whatever, and he didn't eat, and everybody was off. All his classmates were off in their own little section, laughing, having a good time. And this kid, he was standing right next to us. He wasn't even sitting down at a table, and God just kept pushing me. Go, talk to him. Ask him if he needs any food. And if he doesn't need food, ask him about himself. Like, what's up? And straight up, bro, like, I was so hesitant. Not only that, because he looked so mad. I'm like, if I come up to this kid, is he going to be,
aggressive? Yeah,
aggressive to me, or, like, shun me off. And then, like, after the fact, I didn't talk to him, and I felt bad. And there was some other, like, moms are always quick to be good Samaritans, right? Yeah. What do you need? What can I get you? Can I buy you a burger? What's up? No, I'm good. So then right there, I'm like, all right, he doesn't need a burger. Like, this kid might need something else. But bro, I don't know why I was so hesitant to do that. And after the fact, I'm like, talking to my lady, and I tell her like how bad I feel that I didn't do anything, and I call myself a Christian. And I want to walk and try to be as Jesus was. Like he sat with sinners. He sat with tax collectors, because tax collectors were hated then. He sat with thieves. And it's just like, why am I gonna do that, man? And I felt really ashamed of myself, and I was just like, I gotta be more brave about doing that, because I do want to, and I want to be able to have everlasting life. So acting like that.
So you didn't do nothing?
I never did anything, and
I've been there too. I've been there too, where I've done tons of stuff like Good Samaritan stuff, but there's been times where I hesitated, and then the moment's gone. Either the dude's gone, or the scenario's gone, or it's too late.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get that call from God to tell you, you should do it right away.
Yeah.
Because the time will fly, and before you know it, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. So that's happened to me.
I kicked myself in the back end for about 2 or 3 days. I'm like, started thinking about where's that kid at now? What could you have possibly changed in his direction of his life? Because that was done to me, man. Like, my aunt, she got me into church, and I was a reckless kid. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to church. I was always a believer. Church is in my heart. Church is where I'm at. When I pray. I'm good.
I know your family.
I know. So it's just like, it's hard, man. And anyways, that's just it's easy to, like you said, give money to the guy. Hey, I got, 5 kids. I need help with dinner. Go, here you go. Here's a 5 spot. But it's like, how do I didn't impact anybody with that. And then to me, that's just a hard thing that in my Christianity, is that how you say it? I'm trying to get to that point to where I can reach out to people more, and either just going out to lunch with them and having good quality time. To me, that's good Samaritan stuff. Like us right now, hanging out, we're being good Samaritans with each other, and reaching out to the people. And it's just, it's a lot hard than Jesus puts it, like, just gotta have a grain of mustard for faith, and you'll be in heaven forever.
But all it takes is practice.
It does take
Once
practice.
You start, it starts doing easier and easier.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I gave away a job here, and it was a lady comes in, and I can hear her from the street coming in. She's metal to metal, and my brain, okay, we're gonna make some money. She comes in, we lifted up her van, and they take the brakes apart. It's metal. She's not going nowhere. The thing is gone. Pistons are gone. It's everything's gone.
So her car is just
yeah. And so I do my routine. We get I bring her out. She's back then we had a different office, So I bring her out to her car and let me show you what's going on with your car. This is this. You're gonna need a complete overhaul. You're gonna need calipers. You're gonna need rotors. You're gonna need brake pads. You know, this thing is shot. And I'm not facing her. I'm like looking at what I'm trying to show her and explaining to her. And as I turn, it wasn't one tears. There was like tears coming out of each side. And I was just like, and it really slowed me down. And she's like, I can't do this. She's like, I don't even have a home. And she's like, I'm living out of my van. And so I'm like, okay. So I go sit her back into the lobby and I have the guys bring the van down. I said, let's start putting things together. And I look in the van and you can see pillows and covers and where she made her bed. And I'm like, oh man. And this isn't the beginning. This is like, Centric did not have no money, you know. And I felt so bad for her, like, you know. And so I called Napa here. So shout out to Napa.
Napa.
Yeah, I gave him a holler and I talked to the manager. Hey, I got this situation. Can you guys donate some pads and rotors? And they're like, yeah. They sent them over. Then I called another place, One Stop, which is now
Auto AES.
ASW, and they're in San Marcos Vista area. And I say I need some calipers. Can you guys hook it up? They're like, yeah. I tell them the story. Boom. So they gave us all the product. We did all the labor. So I went back into the office and I told her, hey, you know, don't worry about nothing. We're going to take care of it. Merry Christmas. It's around this time. I remember it too. Okay. It was around this time. So once you do that, first time, all it takes is practice. Yeah, it's so much easier the second time. Yeah. You know, and then I tell Teresa, find yours. I tell every year you have permission to do something for somebody. Right. You know, and then, you know, once she finds her person, then she gives them, hey, this is person's in need, you know, whatever it was, and she gives hers too. Yeah. So Ricky, you got game too. So if somebody needs something, you know, that's how it starts. Yeah. You know, give it. And for the people who find it hard, there's organizations out there, like the Kiwanis Club. You know, Kiwanis Club, you don't really need to give money. They work with their hands. You know what I mean? So they might go paint a veteran's house or mow an old veteran's lawn. You know, there's an organization in Oceanside. It's called Stand Up for Kids. And they help homeless kids. And I'm saying real teenage kids. I remember one Thanksgiving I went to one of their Thanksgiving dinners, and we at the Kiwanis Club, you know, donated food, and a friend of ours named Mary, she had a catering business, and she donated like the turkey and all the food and all that stuff. So, you know, that day I'm like, okay, let's go help out. So, you know, we bring tables and set it all up, you know, for Thanksgiving. It's outside, and it's a disclosed place, so nobody knows where it's at because for the protection of these kids. And it's usually because they're coming from an abusive home. Right. You know, they don't want these kids the kids don't want to be found. One thing, it's kind of a weird scenario. Like, you know, if we help the kids and we don't say nothing, they'll come and eat, they'll get clothes. But if we put them on blast, they're not going to come. They'll disappear. You know, they're just like, nah, these guys put us on blast. Anyways, I don't cry. That day, when I saw like a little 9-year-old like this walk in with his skateboard, his backpack, all dirty.
Right here in your shop?
No. This was Oceanside. Okay. And I was baffled. I mean, I knew it was for kids, but I didn't expect what I saw. I saw families coming in, homeless moms and dads with their kids, you know what I mean? But when I saw that little kid, like, I mean, he was short. He was a little shorty. It tear jerked my eye. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it one little, because I don't cry. I don't cry, guys. You know? So,
guys don't cry.
Yeah. So, you know, stand up for kids. I mean, you can simply just donate stuff like socks to them, because in the wintertime, all these homeless people, you know, they need socks. They're walking around in wet socks.
Well, you know, they say that the children are closer to Jesus than we are. You know, because they're so innocent. You know, they're precious still. They got very little sin. You know what I mean? Being so young. But and you know, we give to some foundations as well too. And I guess, like, I don't know if I'm just being picky or not, but I just want to reach deeper, like connect with somebody. Like, what would like with those kids, right? Like with the kid you're talking about, like could you have gone further with that little kid that brought a little tear to your eye? Like did you go further with him? Like, hey, go say hi to him, or
oh yeah,
okay, had a conversation with him.
I looked for the kid that was sitting by herself.
Okay.
And I do remember clearly there was a little black girl, a teenage girl that came in, and everybody's hanging out here, and she was on the table on the opposite side. Mm. So I went and made sure I put my plate there and just say, hey, how you doing? You know, is the food good? Could you? Yeah. And I was serving them too. So like, you guys want seconds? So I go get them sodas and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's a way that people can give back when they don't know how to just stop. You know, I mean, women are scared too to stop by a male that's, you know, begging, or, you know, I mean, it's not really safe, you know, but with the organizations, you know, you can really get involved. Yeah. You know, Kiwanis Club, they're out of Lake San Marcos. They got like 50, 60 members, and they do all kinds of stuff. They give away bikes to kids and stuff like that. So there's different ways. There's a lot of organizations out there.
Mm-hmm. I remember me and my wife went into Vons one time. We went to go pick something up, and we walked in, and there was some homeless guy next to, there was a trash can, and he was literally tearing up the trash looking for food. I was like, damn. Again, I went back to where I was at, and I told my wife, so we went and bought him chicken tenders. I said, what kind of chips you like? He's like, I love Doritos. I was like, all right, bet. So I went in and got him some chicken tenders, Doritos, and a couple of sodas. Took it out to him. I was like, okay, well, here you go, brother. He goes, I said, good luck, God bless you. And then as soon as I said, God bless you, God's like, you better pray for that, man. I was like, oh. And I hesitated for about 2 seconds. I was like, excuse me, bro. I said, do you mind if I pray for you? He's like, no. He just put his head down because he just started eating, right? When we gave him the food, he's like, no, I don't mind. So I was like, okay. I said, now my pastors have always told me, before you pray for people, let them know that you're going to put your hands on them. Yeah, lay hands on them. So they don't get all skittish or whatever. So like, well, I'm going to put my hands on your shoulder. I'm going to pray for you, right? He said, okay. So I did that and prayed, and he's just eating and eating and eating. But my face, I was just full on waterfall, just tears coming out. I was like, dang. I was like, you good? I was like, yeah. I go, but when I see homeless people, addicts, it hits home. It's a totally different thing for me personally, you know, just because I experienced it. So it's tough. Like I've bought a lot of people food, giving them money. And then at one time I was in Nashville, and there was this homeless guy on Broadway in Nashville. He's like, I don't want money, I want a beer. So I was like, I bet. So I would have bought him a beer. You know what I mean? Like, and the same thing in Vegas. There was a guy in Vegas, same thing. He goes, I don't want your money. He goes, I just want a beer. You know, and I respect the honesty. I was like, people that give money, I said, don't use this for drugs, dude. He's like, no, I just want to get food. I was like, because look, if you want a beer, I'll go in there and buy you a beer, but I'm not going to give you money to go buy dope. Yeah. I won't supply that. He's like, no, I want beer. So I went in and bought him a 3-pack of tall cans. I was like, here, dude, I don't know if I'm doing you any disservice, but
6 for you, 6 for me.
Yeah. So it is hard, definitely hard to do. But like Victor said, once you do it once, it just happens. It's it's not necessarily going to talk or giving anybody. It's just, just remember who you saw. Like I've seen people, and I just, I pray for them when I do my time with God, and I was like, that guy that I talked to and, or saw, can you just fix the situation? But it's hard. But we all have the ability to become good Samaritans in our own special way. And
when I think about this, there's a lot of friends of ours and families that are in need but won't say nothing. Mm-hmm. They're dressed nice. They're showered. They live in their house, their apartment. But they got things going on, Spiritually, they're homeless in a sense. Mm-hmm. They're down and out. Yeah. They're thinking of giving up. They may be thinking of suicide. Mm-hmm. And lots of times we step over them. We think they're okay, and we're that first guy, that just looks at him and shakes our head because, my cousin's, a little bit crazy, So think about it that way. And during COVID, I remember sitting through my phone book. I called everybody but Tommy.
Didn't make the cut.
Sorry.
No, but I remember sitting there. Because we had a lot of time back then, and I would just start making phone calls. Hey, Pete, how you doing? Just calling to say, make sure you're okay.
Volkswagen Pete?
Yeah. Actually, him. Yeah. So, I was making phone calls to all my aunts and uncles and family, just making sure they were okay. And you know why? Because I wasn't okay. You know what I mean? I know I was going through my demons and stuff around that time, and we all were, because we're confused on where's life going, and this COVID and life shutting down, and we losing our jobs and all that stuff. But the story of this Good Samaritan is the same thing. Is a lot of us, we may not look like we're homeless or we're down and out, but we're going through stuff. So sometimes I do this a lot too. I try to. I don't want to say a lot. I try to, when I know I'm taking a long drive, like from here to Temecula, you know what I mean? I know I got 15 to 30 minutes, so I'll try to make a phone call to somebody, and a relative that I haven't talked to in a while, and just chat it up with them, and that might be your Good Samaritan,
So for the record, he hasn't called me on his way to Temecula.
Oh. And he's like, hey, call me. Be a Good Samaritan to me. I need some wings. I'm broke.
But all jokes aside, all you guys that are listening right there, I'm going to challenge you guys all. Just be a Good Samaritan to one person.
But be safe.
Be safe. Be cautious of where you're at. Don't put yourself in any situations. And if any of you guys need a Good Samaritan, come see me at the shop. Come see me. We'll talk.
Got it, baby.
We'll pray.
I got you.
I'll buy you lunch.
Amen to that.
Got sodas, coffee.
Soda's right here at the shop. You need
I
one?
got you.
I used to have customers that would come
Just for soda.
weekly for the coffee.
We have our landlord. They come in for sodas and coffee all the time. And I'm a barista.
And it's cool because, like I said, we teach you, let's have a coffee. And we sit there and talk, and I tell them all the time, come back again. You don't have to come and do an oil change for a coffee,
No. Just come on in for good conversation, guys. We're here for you guys. Shout out to Santa Clara Repair for sponsoring Sunday School, man.
Sunday
School. To you guys.
Like and subscribe.
Yes,
guys.
please.
Thumbs up. Hit them thumbs up, man. Let us know.
Let us know that you like it.
Yeah, drop a comment.
Give us topics. Something we want to talk about. We'll research it. We'll find it. We'll talk about it. There's a lot of things out there that are taboo that people are scared to talk about. We're not scared to talk about it. We'll talk about it.
And then hopefully we could bring some actual stories in and interview some people and,
Definitely interviews. Definitely gonna bring people in.
Yeah, if you guys want to talk, we got some extra mics here. Come by.
Yeah.
Give us your story.
Love to hear it. Enlighten us. Pastors, ministers, come talk to us. Come help us out.
Well, guys, thanks for showing up again, once again, and we're going to do this again. I think tomorrow we're going to be interviewing the coach from San Marcos High School.
The Knights.
Coach Tony Fuller. Shout out. San Marcos High School.
I got some questions for the coach. Hard questions.
He looks aggressive.
Like did he enjoy? Didn't they lose the Mission House?
Okay, time to cut.
Ooh, the Grizzlies.
Look at him. Look at this guy.
We'll ask him tomorrow.
Yeah, you can ask him that tomorrow, sir.
Oh yeah.
Is he a big guy?
No, I mean, he's.
I said I got
he's
him.
stocky.
Maybe he's like David and Goliath. You're Goliath. He's David.
He's gonna bring the slingshot tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check him, pat him down, make sure he doesn't have any small pebbles.
Wanda.
All right, guys.
And shout out to everybody listening up. Sunday School coming to you every Sunday with a story.
Have a good rest of your day.
See you guys.